Every mystery begins with a quiet question, one that hums beneath the noise of knowledge. Even now, after centuries of discovery, the universe still holds its breath. There are things science can measure, and things it can only watch in awe, dark corners of truth that refuse to speak. Tonight we drift toward those places, the gaps between equations, the pauses between certainty and wonder, the spaces where the cosmos whispers, "Not yet." Welcome to AstraFlow. Here, science drifts like starlight, and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts slow down, your breathing find its rhythm, and your mind float through wonder. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're listening from. Are you lying in bed under city lights, or watching the stars from somewhere quiet? Tell me in the comments. It's always peaceful to imagine the AstraFlow community scattered across the world, drifting together through the same sky. And if this calm journey brings you peace, you can gently support AstraFlow by liking this video or subscribing. It helps this little corner of the cosmos keep glowing. Now, let's begin tonight's voyage into the quiet story of 100 mysteries that even science can't explain yet. Close your eyes. Let the sound of your breath become the soft rhythm of time. With every inhale, imagine yourself floating deeper into the unknown. With every exhale, release the need for answers. You're safe among the mysteries, and the more we explore, the more we realize that the unknown isn't empty, it's alive. A field of possibility shimmering just beyond reach. So tonight, we will drift, not to solve, but to feel. To sense the beauty of the unexplained and the gentle truth that sometimes not knowing is its own kind of peace. What does it mean to live in a universe that refuses to be fully understood? Every time we peel back one layer of mystery, another appears beneath it, softer, older, stranger. We measure, we calculate, we name the stars, and yet we find ourselves surrounded by deeper questions, each glowing faintly like lanterns lost in the fog. Perhaps the unknown is not a wall to break through, but an ocean to float upon, infinite, silent, and alive with motion. Science, in its quiet way, is a form of meditation. It is humanity sitting before the universe and listening carefully. But what it hears is not always an answer. Sometimes, it hears only a question whispered back, as if the cosmos itself enjoys the dance of uncertainty. You and I in this calm moment are part of that same dance. Every heartbeat is an experiment in rhythm. Every breath is data collected by the body's quiet wisdom. And still, there are parts of you, your thoughts, your dreams, your moments of déjà vu, that remain outside explanation. The closer we look, the more we discover that even we are mysteries. Maybe this is the true secret of knowledge, that understanding is not a destination but a motion. Like a wave travelling endlessly through time, knowing rises, peaks and fades, leaving behind the shimmering trail of curiosity. It's what keeps us searching, wondering and creating. If all answers were found, the song of the universe would fall silent. So tonight, we will not chase solutions. We will listen instead to the unanswered questions that hum beneath the stars, to the strange comfort of realizing that being small, uncertain, and awed is the most human thing of all. Let your breath move slowly. Inhale as if gathering a question. Exhale as if releasing it back to the night. There is peace beyond knowing, and in that peace, wonder continues to grow. Science, at its heart, is a map maker, drawing bright lines across the dark sea of the unknown. Each discovery adds a new island of understanding, glowing softly against the deep ocean of everything we still don't know. But the map is incomplete, and perhaps it always will be. Every generation believes it has nearly reached the edge of truth, only to find the horizon has moved further away. The more precise our instruments become, the more subtle and complex the universe reveals itself to be. It is as though reality hides within layers of mist, each veil lifting only when we're ready to glimpse what lies beyond. Some mysteries live in the smallest corners, inside the particles that flicker between being and not being. Others stretch across billions of light years, written in the language of gravity and silence. And between those two extremes there is us, the observers, the dreamers, trapped between knowing and wondering, gazing into the mirror of creation with both awe and confusion. You could say the universe is not a puzzle to be solved, but a poem to be experienced. Every unanswered question is a verse, every discovery a pause between stanzas. It flows endlessly, a song of atoms and stars, of chaos and symmetry, of time folding in on itself like the tide. So as we begin our journey through these 100 unsolved mysteries, don't imagine a scientist in a white coat or a philosopher with a furrowed brow. Imagine instead a quiet traveller, floating through space with open eyes and a gentle heart, collecting fragments of wonder, one mystery at a time. Let your body sink deeper into stillness, your heartbeat steady, your thoughts softer now. Beyond every known truth lies a secret, and beyond every secret a kind of peace. We begin here, on the shifting map of mystery, and drift toward the first question the universe has yet to answer. In the tiniest corners of reality, beneath everything you've ever touched or seen, there is a quiet flicker, a pulse of existence that refuses to stay still. Physicists call them subatomic particles, quarks, leptons, photons. But even the names feel like poetry for something we do not yet understand. They blink in and out of existence, appearing only when we look, vanishing when we turn away, as if shy to be known. At that scale, certainty dissolves. The laws that govern the stars fail to describe the trembling of the invisible. Particles are not fixed points. They are probabilities, waves of potential, shimmering between being and not being. Reality, it seems, does not exist until it is observed, and when no one is watching, the universe hums quietly in a state of infinite possibility. You can think of it like the wind through tall grass. You cannot see the wind itself, only its effect. It moves through everything, invisible but undeniable. In that same way, the quantum world moves through us, unseen, unmeasured, yet always there. Science tries to describe it with mathematics, but behind every equation lies something softer, a mystery that feels more like a breath than a fact. Maybe the particles whisper. Maybe the universe speaks in a language too small for sound. As you breathe in, imagine that each atom in your body is part of that whisper. They've existed for billions of years. The same particles that once spun inside stars now drift within your lungs. You're not separate from the mystery. You're made of it. And when you exhale, let go of the need to define what cannot yet be defined. Some questions are meant not to be answered, but to be felt, like the hum of silence between heartbeats, or the shimmer of particles that flicker just beyond the edge of knowing. In the dreamlike realm of the quantum, everything we know about reality begins to bend. A single particle can act like a wave, and a wave can behave like a particle. Light, the very thing that lets us see the world, is both a stream of tiny sparks and a smooth ripple flowing through space. Science calls this duality. But perhaps it is more like a mirage, a gentle illusion reminding us that truth may wear more than one shape. Imagine tossing a pebble into a still pond. Ripples spread outward, touching everything in quiet, perfect circles. Now imagine the pebble is not a stone but a single photon, a particle of light, and that it ripples not through water but through the fabric of possibility itself. It moves, not in space, but through all potential paths at once until the moment we look. Only then does it choose. Only then does the wave collapse into one reality. The universe, it seems, behaves differently when it's being watched, and that is the strange, poetic truth of the quantum world. Observation changes existence. The act of seeing is a form of creation. Every measurement we make, every question we ask, alters the very thing we wish to understand. The line between the observer and the observed becomes beautifully blurred. Are we discovering reality, or helping it unfold simply by paying attention? Close your eyes for a moment and picture that. The light of your awareness moving gently through the dark, illuminating possibilities that wait to become real. You are both part of the experiment and the reason it exists. The cosmos is not just out there. It is responding. As you breathe, feel how this truth hums quietly inside you. Every thought is a ripple. Every dream, a wave collapsing into meaning. Maybe the universe itself dreams through you, testing its own possibilities through the mirror of your mind. And somewhere, deep in the subatomic dark, another particle flickers, waiting to be seen. If you could look deep enough, far beyond the surface of matter, past the boundaries of atoms, you would find something strange. Everything, from electrons to galaxies, is spinning. But this spin is not like the turning of a wheel or the twirl of a planet. In the quantum world, spin is not motion as we know it. It's a hidden quality, a kind of essence of turning that gives particles their behavior, their personality, their very existence. An electron spin determines how it dances with magnetic fields, how it bonds with other atoms, how it shapes the world you touch and breathe. But if you try to imagine that spin as literal rotation, the mind stumbles, because the particle itself has no surface, no size, no edge to rotate. It spins without moving, it turns without turning. A perfect contradiction, and yet one that builds the structure of reality. Science can describe how spin behaves, but not what it truly is. Equations can predict its effects with exquisite precision, but the nature of that invisible twirl remains beyond words. It is as though every particle carries a tiny secret, a private rhythm, inaudible yet essential. You might imagine it as the heartbeat of the universe, each particle pulsing with its own direction, its own polarity, spinning in harmony with countless others. Together these silent rotations weave everything. The atoms in your skin, the air you breathe, the stars you dream under. When you breathe in, you are part of that cosmic rotation. Every molecule of oxygen spins as it joins your blood. Every cell hums with microscopic momentum. You're not still, even in sleep. You're a galaxy of motion too small to see. Perhaps this is the poetry hidden inside physics, that even in stillness the universe is always dancing, that at the smallest scale of being, existence is not static, but a constant graceful turn. So as you lie here, let that image drift across your mind, a field of invisible dancers spinning endlessly in silence, each movement shaping the world you know. And though you may never see their steps, you can feel their rhythm, a quiet pulse echoing through everything that ever was. Everything around you, your bed, your breath, your heartbeat, feels solid and continuous. Yet if you could peer deeply into its structure, you would see something astonishing. Almost all of it is empty space. The atoms that make up your body are like tiny solar systems, a dense nucleus surrounded by electrons that whirl so far away it's as if a marble sat in the middle of a cathedral. If all that empty space were removed, the entire human race could fit into the volume of a sugar cube. It sounds impossible, but it's true. Matter, it seems, is mostly nothing. And still, that nothing holds everything together. The vast space between particles is bridged by invisible fields, forces that hum with unseen energy, binding atoms into molecules, molecules into cells, cells into thought. So what is this emptiness that carries the weight of existence? Science calls it vacuum, but the word doesn't do it justice. Even when stripped of all matter, space itself still seethes with motion, a restless sea of virtual particles blinking in and out of being faster than time can count. This vacuum is not silence, it is potential. a shimmering field of almost reality, buzzing beneath every atom and every star. You too are woven from this quiet energy. The emptiness between your atoms hums with the same possibility that fills the galaxies. Every breath you take is a meeting of infinities, the vast outer void and the vast inner one, mirroring each other in a soft, endless rhythm. Perhaps the void is not nothing at all. Perhaps it is the space where the universe dreams, where thought takes form, where energy becomes matter, and matter becomes light. As you exhale, imagine yourself floating in that invisible ocean, a single note in the great silence between things. You're not apart from the emptiness, you're the emptiness, given shape by the dance of fields and forces. And maybe that's the greatest mystery of all, that what we call nothing might be the most alive thing there is. At first glance, chaos looks like confusion, the unpredictable path of smoke in the air, the uneven flicker of candlelight, the way clouds form shapes that dissolve before we can name them. But look closer, and within that wildness, there is a pattern whispering quietly beneath. Fractals. Curves that repeat within themselves, endlessly. Order hidden inside disorder. Science once thought chaos was meaningless, but then it discovered the strange beauty beneath it. A single equation can describe the curve of a coastline, the branching of a lightning, the spiral of a galaxy, and the delicate veins of a leaf. It's called self-similarity, the universe echoing itself at every scale. Imagine zooming into a fern. Each leaf mirrors the whole. Zoom again, and the pattern continues, as if nature speaks a single sentence, repeating it in infinite dialects. This is the quiet logic of chaos, unruly yet precise, unpredictable yet strangely familiar. And within that dance there's a secret lesson, that perfection in nature is not symmetry but rhythm. The wind doesn't flow in straight lines, the river doesn't carve the land evenly, your heartbeat is never perfectly regular, and yet each holds a living pattern, a truth beyond control. So perhaps chaos is not failure but freedom. A way for the universe to explore itself without repetition. Without chaos there would be no change, no art, no life. The stars were born from the chaotic collapse of clouds, your thoughts from the flickering chaos of neurons. As you listen now, notice the small randomness of your own breath. Each inhale slightly different from the last, each exhale wandering in its own time. You're made of pattern and unpredictability both. You're the calm inside the storm, and the storm inside the calm. When you drift into sleep, chaos softens into dreams, where order loosens its grip and imagination becomes infinite again. Perhaps that is the universe's truest language. Not numbers, not words, but the music of patterns that never quite repeat. If you hold a glass of water and look closely, you'll see only clarity. A calm surface. No colour, no mark of what it has touched. But some scientists have wondered, does water remember? Can this most ordinary of substances retain traces of what has passed through it? Molecules, vibrations, emotions, perhaps even thought. It sounds like a dream more than a theory, and yet experiments have hinted that water might carry echoes of what it once held, even after the original substances are long gone. Tiny changes in its structure, subtle patterns in how molecules cluster together, as if it has stored a faint memory of its past. Whether or not this mystery proves true, it carries a poetic truth. Water moves through everything, linking all life in a quiet, unseen continuity. The water in your veins may once have been part of an ancient sea or a glacier drifting under alien stars. It may have flowed through trees, through clouds, through the lungs of creatures that no longer walk the earth. Water is the planet's memory, written in movement. Every drop that touches you has travelled farther than you could imagine, rising as vapour, falling as rain, slipping through soil, carrying minerals, light, and time itself. When you drink, you are tasting the past of the world, And perhaps that's why water has always felt sacred to us. It cleanses, it nourishes, it reflects. It forgets nothing, yet it forgives everything. It takes the shape of whatever holds it. A lesson, maybe, in softness and survival. As you breathe slowly now, imagine your own memories flowing like water. Gentle, clear, unhurried. Let them drift through you, losing their sharp edges, becoming reflections instead of weights. The mysteries of water remind us the simplest things hold the deepest secrets. Even silence has texture. Even stillness has a current. And sometimes, what we call forgetfulness is simply the way the mind learns to flow again. Every moment, without exception, moves forward. A cup falls and shatters, but never reassembles. Smoke rises from a match, but never curls back into flame. We age, we remember, we change, all under the quiet command of time's invisible direction. We call it the arrow of time, and though we live by it completely, science still doesn't know why it only points one way. The laws of physics, strange as it seems, don't forbid time from running backward. Equations work just as well in reverse. At the smallest scale, in the heart of atoms, events could flow either direction, forward or back, like ripples on a still pond that spread both ways. Yet here, in the world we touch, the arrow holds firm. Milk spills but never unspills. Memories form, but never precede the moment that makes them. Why? Some say it's entropy, the universe's gentle drift from order to disorder, from symmetry to scattering. It is the reason stars burn out, the reason ice melts, the reason your breath fades into the room and does not return. Entropy is the great softening, the universe exhaling, turning energy into rest. But maybe time's one-way motion is more than a physical law. Maybe it's also a kindness, because without forward motion, there would be no story, no growth, no learning, no letting go. The arrow of time writes meaning into chaos. It lets love exist because it allows moments to pass, to be remembered and cherished precisely because they cannot return. As you lie here now, you're moving along that invisible current. Each heartbeat marks another small step forward. Each breath a soft surrender to the river of time. It carries you not away from life, but deeper into it, where the future waits like calm water, reflecting the light of everything you've ever been. So let go of trying to hold still. Let the current move you gently onward. In this motion, there is peace, and in the flow of time, there is eternity disguised as change. Billions of years ago, before oceans breathed or stars had stories, the Earth was a silent laboratory. Lightning cracked across dark seas. Volcanoes exhaled clouds of minerals and steam. And somewhere, in a drop no larger than a tear, the impossible happened. Matter began to live. No one knows exactly how it began. Science can trace the chemistry, amino acids forming chains, molecules folding into structure, patterns repeating like the first rhythm of a heartbeat. But somewhere in that delicate assembly, something crossed a threshold. The cold became warm, the still became self-aware, and from that single whisper of motion came everything: the coral reef, the songbird, the forest, you. It's called abiogenesis, the origin of life from non-life, and even the greatest minds admit we do not yet understand it. Was it a random spark, a chemical inevitability, or the universe dreaming of itself through form and motion? Perhaps life is not a rare accident, but a language the cosmos speaks whenever conditions are kind. Wherever water pools, wherever sunlight touches carbon, something begins to stir. The same laws that govern the stars also guide the cell. Energy flowing into order, order learning to feel. And so, in a way, you're a continuation of that first trembling reaction, a living echo of the world learning how to awaken. Your breath is a billion-year inheritance. The carbon in your blood once danced in the core of a dying star, and the water in your veins may have been part of that primordial ocean where life took its first slow breath. As you rest now, imagine yourself as that moment, the quiet spark in the dark, becoming aware for the first time. There is something profoundly gentle in realizing that every thought, every sigh, every dream is part of an unbroken chain of becoming. And though we cannot yet explain how life began, perhaps the better mystery is why it chose to begin at all. Maybe existence itself longed to feel wonder, and so it became you. Inside every cell of your body there lies a quiet library, 3 billion letters long, written not in ink but in a spiraling code of light and chemistry. DNA. It twists and folds upon itself like a sleeping serpent, carrying the memory of all who came before you. Every heartbeat, every breath, every shade of your eyes is a line from that ancient script. Science has mapped this genetic text with dazzling precision, but no one yet fully understands why it is written as it is. Why does this sequence produce consciousness, while another yields a tree or a whale or the fragile wings of a dragonfly? The code seems both random and deliberate, chaos woven into perfect order. Within your cells, millions of microscopic machines read this script every second, copying, editing, translating, yet never tiring, never mistaking purpose. How does lifeless chemistry become a symphony so intentional? Where did the first message come from? Who or what wrote the alphabet of existence? DNA speaks in 4 letters, A, T, G, and C. But the combinations are infinite, a language of possibility spoken not in words but in patterns. It is both mathematical and poetic, structured yet free, silent yet endlessly expressive. Imagine now that each cell within you hums softly with its own vibration, a microscopic choir singing the same melody in endless harmony. You're a living galaxy of instruction, a constellation of purpose carried by every molecule of your being. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear the faint rhythm of your own design, a pulse written billions of years ago, still echoing beneath your heartbeat. Some mysteries do not need to be solved, they simply need to be honoured. DNA may be a mechanism, but it is also a miracle, a thread of continuity connecting dust to dream, silence to song, the cosmos to you. As you lie in stillness, imagine the code unwinding gently, each twist a syllable, each cell a verse. You're not just alive, you're a poem the universe is still writing. Each night, when you close your eyes, the world disappears, yet somehow another world awakens. In that quiet darkness, the mind begins to dream. Colours bloom without light, voices whisper without air, and time itself melts into strange, beautiful forms. We've all been there, flying through endless skies, speaking to someone long gone, or watching impossible events unfold with perfect sense. And when morning comes, we wake with a question science still cannot answer. Why do we dream at all? For centuries, people have believed dreams to be messages, from gods, from the soul, from the unconscious sea beneath thought. Science, cautious and curious, calls them neural storms, the brain's quiet maintenance, sorting memories, rehearsing emotions, testing reality's boundaries in the safety of sleep. And yet, even after decades of study, no one truly knows why the mind creates such vivid illusions. Why must the body rest, but the imagination roam? Why do we carry secret worlds within our skulls, painted every night in light we cannot see? Perhaps dreaming is the mind's way of remembering that it is more than machinery. Perhaps it is where logic loosens its grip, and creativity breathes freely again. In dreams, the boundaries dissolve. You can walk on clouds, speak to oceans, or become pure light. Reality softens, and possibility returns to play. As you drift now, imagine the brain as a quiet planet, neurons flickering like stars, each one sending a spark across the sky of thought. Within that celestial field, memories rise like constellations, stories forming, fading, reforming. Dreams are not random, they are the universe, rehearsing itself through you. And when you wake, a faint residue of that realm remains, an image, a feeling, a whisper, a message perhaps from the deeper self. That even in stillness, the mind keeps moving. That consciousness, like the cosmos, never truly sleeps. It only changes its rhythm. So as you breathe tonight, allow yourself to wander. You are both the dreamer and the dream, a fragment of infinity imagining itself in motion. There is something within you that no microscope can find, no equation can describe, no machine can replicate. It watches quietly from behind your eyes, the witness to every thought, every colour, every heartbeat. Science can trace the electric storms inside the brain. It can map neurons and synapses in breathtaking detail. But it still cannot answer the simplest question. What is the you that is aware of it all? Consciousness is the most intimate thing we experience, and yet the most mysterious. It is the space in which all things appear, the voice that hears your thoughts, the listener behind the sound of the rain, the feeling of I am that never quite fades, even when the mind grows still. Some believe consciousness is born from the brain, a miracle of complexity, emerging from matter when enough neurons fire together. Others sense it might be older than matter itself, woven into the fabric of the universe, like gravity or light, not created by the brain, but reflected through it as the ocean reflects the moon. You can think of it this way. Your mind is the wave, your consciousness, the sea. The wave rises, takes form, glimmers briefly under the sun, then folds gently back into the ocean that has always been there. The form changes, but the water remains. Perhaps awareness too is eternal, flowing through countless forms, experiencing itself in infinite ways. As you lie here, your consciousness is quietly watching this moment unfold. You may feel your breath, the weight of the blanket, the faint hum of the world beyond your room. And yet, there is something even quieter beneath all of that, a stillness that simply knows. Try to sense it now, the awareness that is not your thoughts, not your emotions, but the calm presence behind them, the observer that listens without judgment, the space where all experience arises and dissolves. Science can measure the signals, but not the silence. It can explain the mechanism, but not the mystery. And maybe that's the point. Consciousness is not meant to be captured, only witnessed. Because the moment you try to hold it, it vanishes, like light in a closed hand. So let it be, your awareness itself, resting in a body made of stars, watching the universe unfold from the inside. Imagine losing something, a hand, a leg, a part of yourself, and still feeling it there. Still feeling the itch of an absent finger, the curl of toes that are no longer flesh, the weight of what has vanished. This is the strange phenomenon called phantom pain, a mystery that confounds both medicine and philosophy. The body knows it is gone, but the mind refuses to agree. The nerves still fire in ghostly patterns, sending messages to limbs that no longer exist. The brain, shaped by years of familiarity, keeps its map intact, refusing to erase what it once called you. Doctors can trace the signals, but not the sorrow within them. Some patients say the phantom fades with time. Others say it lingers like a shadow that never learned the new shape of light. It is as though the body remembers its wholeness, a quiet protest against loss. But this mystery extends beyond the physical. Haven't you too felt the echo of something long gone? A voice that no longer speaks, a home that no longer stands, a love that has moved into silence, and yet somehow you still feel its presence. Memory, like nerve endings, has its own geography. It doesn't need flesh to ache. Perhaps the phantom limb teaches us something profound, that the self is not confined to the body, that identity is both physical and luminous, woven through sensation, thought, and time. Even absence leaves a trace, a pattern of energy where something once existed. The universe, too, remembers its missing parts. Stars that burned out, worlds that dissolved, atoms recycled into new forms of being. So when you feel the quiet ache of something you've lost, don't fight it. It is proof that connection does not die. It only changes shape. The pain is a whisper from the map your mind still holds, a reminder that love, experience and presence cannot truly be erased. As you exhale now, imagine those ghostly sensations softening, the outlines fading into peace. You are whole, even in absence. You are complete, even in change. The body, like the universe, always finds new ways to remember itself. There is a mystery hidden within the simplest act of hope. A sugar pill, a harmless saltwater injection, a word spoken with gentle confidence, and suddenly the body begins to heal. Wounds close faster, pain subsides, anxiety softens. Even when the treatment has no physical power at all, belief alone changes what the body becomes. Science calls it the placebo effect. But beneath that term lies something deeper, a quiet spell the mind casts upon itself. No one fully understands how it works. Doctors can measure the results, lower blood pressure, reduce pain, even visible recovery. But the mechanism remains elusive. Is it chemistry responding to faith? Neurons obeying imagination? Or is it proof that consciousness itself is not a passenger, but an active force within the body's design? When you believe you're healing, your body begins to behave as though it already has. Cells communicate differently, hormones adjust, immune systems awaken. The boundary between mind and matter blurs, and the simple act of trust becomes medicine. Some see this as trickery, but perhaps it is not deceit, only a forgotten truth, that the body listens closely to the stories the mind tells. When the story changes, so does the body. You can feel this even now. If you imagine warmth, your pulse subtly shifts. If you picture calm, your breath deepens. The mind is not a cloud floating above the body. It is the current moving through it. Maybe this is what ancient healers always knew. That ritual, belief, and gentle words speak directly to the cells, as if reminding them of their harmony. Modern science calls it placebo. Perhaps the universe calls it coherence. The moment when faith and biology hum the same note. So as you rest, let a quiet suggestion move through you. You are healing. Not because something outside you makes it so, but because the potential already lives within. Your breath is medicine. Your awareness, a balm. You are both the doctor and the cure, and belief is the hand that connects them. Every moment of your life, you're being pulled toward the earth, toward the stars, toward everything that has mass. You can't see it, can't hear it, but gravity holds you like an invisible embrace. It keeps your feet on the ground, the moon in its orbit, the planets in their cosmic waltz. And yet, for all its familiarity, gravity remains one of the deepest mysteries in all of science. We know what it does, but we still don't truly know what it is. Is it a force? A curve in the fabric of space and time? A ripple echoing from some deeper dimension? Einstein imagined the universe as a vast sheet, and every object with mass as a weight upon it. A bowling ball bending the surface so that smaller things roll toward it. A beautiful image, and yet it doesn't tell us why mass bends space at all. It only describes that it does. Some physicists whisper that gravity might not be a fundamental force at all, but an illusion, an emergent effect of something deeper, perhaps quantum entanglement stretched across the cosmos. Others dream of particles called gravitons, messengers of attraction that no one has ever seen. Every experiment to capture gravity at the quantum level returns only silence. It's as if the universe is guarding this one secret, the gentle pull that binds everything but never reveals its thread, and yet, without it, nothing would exist. No stars would form, no worlds would spin, no life would take shape. Gravity is the universe's most patient artist, shaping chaos into harmony over billions of years. It pulls dust into stars, stars into galaxies, and galaxies into elegant clusters, each swirl a signature of its invisible hand. Even now, as you lie still, you are part of that great conversation of pull and balance. Your body presses softly into the bed, the earth pressing back, both acknowledging each other in silent trust. It is a gentle reminder that connection is not just emotional, it is physical, constant, cosmic. So as you breathe, feel that subtle downward pull, not as weight, but as belonging. You are being held by the planet, cradled by gravity's kindness. It doesn't demand or shout, it simply whispers, stay, be here, rest, look up at the night sky. Every star, every planet, every glowing cluster you see, that's only a tiny fraction of what exists. Astronomers estimate that all the visible matter in the cosmos, everything made of atoms, light and dust, accounts for less than 5% of the universe. The rest is missing, invisible, silent, yet it shapes everything. They call it dark matter, not because it is dark, but because we cannot see it. It doesn't shine, doesn't absorb, doesn't reflect, and yet it outweighs everything we know. Galaxies spin faster than they should, as if held together by invisible hands. Clusters of stars move through space as though guided by unseen currents. Without this mysterious substance, the universe would fly apart, a cosmic web without its threads. Scientists have tried to capture it. They've built vast underground chambers, shielded from light, air and time, waiting for a single particle of dark matter to tap on the walls of their instruments. But the detectors stay silent. The darkness does not yield. What if dark matter is not matter at all, but something stranger, a shadow of gravity, a reflection of energy folded into higher dimensions? Some even suggest that the missing mass might be illusion, a sign that our understanding of gravity itself is incomplete. Each theory is a lantern, casting a little glow on the unknown. But the horizon remains wide, and the silence infinite. And yet, maybe that's what makes the mystery beautiful. The universe is not fully revealed, and perhaps it never will be. It leaves space for wonder, for humility in the face of the unseen. As you breathe now, imagine that unseen matter swirling all around you, in the air, in your body, in the distance between stars. It passes through you silently, a reminder that existence is far larger than what the eye can hold. Maybe dark matter is the fabric of everything we don't yet understand, the love that binds, the gravity of mystery itself. And as you rest, you too are held by that unseen presence, safe within its gentle, invisible arms. If dark matter is the invisible mass that holds the universe together, then dark energy is the opposite, a vast, unseen force pushing it apart. It hums through every inch of space, subtle yet unstoppable, stretching the cosmos wider, faster, ever farther from itself. Astronomers discovered it almost by accident. They expected that gravity, with all its quiet strength, would slow the expansion of the universe over time. But when they measured the light of distant galaxies, they found something astonishing. The expansion wasn't slowing down. It was speeding up, as though some invisible wind was filling the sails of creation, driving everything outward into endless night. We call that wind dark energy, though the name tells us nothing. It is not dark, not energy as we understand it. It is a placeholder for mystery itself. It makes up nearly 70% of the cosmos, and yet we have no idea what it truly is. A pressure within the fabric of space, a property of the vacuum, a breath from before time began? No theory fits completely. No experiment has touched its edge. And still, we feel its consequence. Every galaxy drifts farther away from every other, each star sailing through a sea that grows deeper with every second. Even the light that reaches your eyes tonight was stretched by that cosmic expansion, its waves pulled thin by the silent acceleration of the universe. You're seeing the ancient past, lengthened by the future's pull. Perhaps dark energy is the universe's way of exhaling, a slow cosmic sigh after billions of years of creation. Maybe it is not destruction, but release. The universe letting go softly, gently, endlessly. And though the thought may sound lonely, it is not. Because you are part of that same expansion, your atoms, your breath, your thoughts, all woven into the quiet motion of everything drifting outward. You're not separate from that hidden energy. You are its expression, momentary and luminous. So as you inhale, feel yourself as part of the universe's inhale. And as you exhale, imagine that your breath joins the cosmic wind, that gentle force pushing stars, galaxies, and even dreams toward whatever lies beyond the edge of knowing. There is a boundary to what we can see, a faint, invisible edge where light itself runs out of time. Beyond it, the universe continues, but its glow can no longer reach us. Astronomers call this the cosmic horizon, the outer limit of visibility. It isn't a wall, but a distance too vast for light to cross since the moment the universe began. When you look at the night sky, you're gazing backward through time, seeing galaxies not as they are, but as they were billions of years ago. The farther you look, the older the light becomes, until it fades into the afterglow of the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background, a whisper from the birth of everything. And then, silence. Beyond that, a darkness untouched by observation. Galaxies drift there, their light forever out of reach. They exist. We know they must, but we will never see them. The expansion of space has carried them away faster than their light can return. They are part of our universe, yet already lost to us. It's a humbling truth that even in a universe of infinite motion, there are limits to knowing. We stand at the shore of a cosmic ocean, hearing the waves but never seeing the farthest stars. The horizon isn't an end. It's a reminder that existence is always larger than comprehension, and perhaps in some distant galaxy, another observer stares into their own horizon, wondering about us, their sky missing the light of our Milky Way, just as ours misses theirs. Each mind, each planet, each species of wonder is surrounded by its own circle of mystery. We are all isolated by light, and yet connected by awe. As you breathe now, imagine standing on that horizon, where known and unknown blur together, where the last photons of ancient light brush softly against your skin before fading into forever. You do not need to chase what lies beyond. It is already within you, the same silence, the same infinity, the same yearning to understand. And in that quiet yearning, you're no longer small. You're the horizon itself, the meeting place of curiosity and calm, of light and the endless dark. In the great expanse of the cosmos, the background hum of creation fills every direction equally. A faint, ancient radiation left from the universe's fiery beginning. It is smooth, almost perfect in its sameness. And yet, in one region of the sky, there is a shadow, a patch colder than all the rest, a silence in the heat of time itself. Astronomers call it the cold spot. It shouldn't exist. According to every model, the afterglow of the Big Bang should be uniform, varying only slightly as matter gathered into galaxies. But this patch, vast, dark, and still, defies the pattern. It stretches hundreds of millions of light years wide, as if something enormous pressed its thumb into the fabric of the early universe. Some say it is just a statistical fluke, a coincidence born of cosmic randomness. Others believe it could be something far stranger, perhaps a void, a vast region of near nothingness, a place where fewer galaxies ever formed. And then there are whispers of wilder theories, that the cold spot might be a scar left from another universe, a place where our cosmos brushed against another during its birth, leaving a subtle bruise in the glow of eternity. No telescope can confirm it. No equation can erase the doubt. It simply remains, a quiet blemish on perfection, a reminder that even the universe has asymmetries it cannot explain. And maybe that's what gives the cosmos its beauty: imperfection. A single irregularity that makes the infinite feel alive. Just as every person carries small mysteries, a dream they can't interpret, a feeling they can't name, so too does the universe carry its unspoken story in that patch of cold. As you breathe now, imagine that cold spot as a still lake in the night sky, motionless, dark, calm. A place where creation paused to rest, where silence itself left an imprint on light. We are drawn to mysteries not to fix them, but to be reminded that perfection without strangeness would be lifeless. The cold spot may never reveal its origin, but perhaps it doesn't need to. Its existence alone is enough, proof that the universe, like us, is beautifully unfinished. At the dawn of time, when the universe was newborn and glowing, everything existed in perfect balance. For every particle of matter there was a twin, an equal and opposite mirror called antimatter. Together they should have met, embraced, and vanished into pure light. Perfect symmetry, perfect cancellation. A universe that would never have existed. And yet, somehow, a tiny imbalance tilted the scales. For every billion pairs of matter and antimatter, one lonely particle of matter survived. 1 in a billion, but that fraction was enough to create everything. Every star, every planet, every heartbeat is built from that ancient imperfection. Without it, there would be no galaxies, no warmth, no life. Only light drifting forever in silence. But why did symmetry break? Why did matter win the quiet war of existence? Science can only guess. Some say that hidden forces tipped the balance in the first moments after the Big Bang, a subtle bias built into the laws of nature. Others wonder if chance itself played a role, the universe rolling cosmic dice and landing impossibly on something instead of nothing. And then there are those who think the answer lies beyond what we can see, in dimensions where the lost antimatter still hides, balancing the equation in another unseen world. Whatever the cause, this broken symmetry is the reason you exist. You are the residue of imperfection, the echo of imbalance frozen into form, and in that imperfection lies all creation. Perhaps the universe was never meant to be flawless. Perhaps its beauty comes from the moment it slipped, the instant it decided that pure harmony was too quiet, too still, and so it introduced a heartbeat, a rhythm, a touch of asymmetry that allowed the story to begin. As you rest, feel that small cosmic defiance within yourself, the part that resists perfect order, the part that makes you human, curious, alive. You too are the result of that ancient decision, a fragment of the universe that refused to vanish into light. Breathe in that imperfection, exhale the idea of perfection itself, for in the soft imbalance of being, everything finds its pulse. If light is the fastest thing in the universe, what then is the speed of thought? A spark leaps across a neuron in a few milliseconds, a signal racing from your fingertips to your brain faster than you can notice. But when you imagine, when you remember, when you dream, the distance between here and there collapses to nothing. In an instant you can stand in your childhood home, walk beneath distant stars, or hold a memory that lives decades away. No law of physics seems to slow the mind. Science can trace the process: electrical impulses, chemical messengers, the firing of billions of neurons in perfect harmony. But what it can't explain is the leap, the way thought moves without distance, how awareness flickers from image to image, from word to emotion, as if it were skipping across dimensions instead of matter. The brain is a physical organ, but the experience of thought feels infinite. How can something made of cells contain the vastness of memory, imagination, and time? How can a single mind travel to the farthest corners of space without ever moving an inch? Perhaps thought doesn't move at all. Perhaps consciousness is already everywhere, and thought is simply the act of tuning in, like a radio finding a frequency already vibrating in the air. Your mind, then, is not a box that holds awareness, but a window that opens to it. Each thought is a ripple in that shared ocean of knowing. Close your eyes for a moment. Think of someone you love. Notice how quickly their face appears, their voice, their warmth. The mind moves faster than light because it doesn't need to move at all. It simply is there. Science measures distance and speed, but perhaps thought belongs to another language, the language of connection, where time folds inward and every memory is both past and present. As you breathe now, feel how each thought rises and fades like a wave. Don't chase them, don't stop them, just let them drift. For the mind is not a machine of motion, but a current of stillness, flowing without travelling, arriving without leaving. Somewhere, perhaps, another version of you is looking at the same stars, wondering the same thing. Did the universe create only one story, this one? Or is ours just a single page in an infinite book? The multiverse theory whispers that reality may be larger than imagination itself, a boundless sea of universes, each with its own rules, its own histories, its own heartbeat of possibility. In one, gravity may be stronger, in another, stars may never form, in yet another, the conditions for life are just right. And there you are again, breathing, wondering, dreaming, slightly different, but still you. Every choice you make here could unfold differently elsewhere. Every path not taken might be taken by another version of your soul. Science approaches this idea with both awe and skepticism. Some see hints of the multiverse in the mathematics of quantum mechanics, each decision splitting into countless outcomes, each possibility realized somewhere, somehow. Others glimpse it in the cold edges of cosmic background radiation, patterns that seem to whisper of collisions between other universes and our own. But none of it can be proven. No telescope can peer beyond our cosmic bubble. The multiverse, for now, remains a theory, a dream written in physics and philosophy alike. And yet, doesn't the idea feel strangely comforting? That somewhere, the moments you missed might still exist. That every version of you still gets to love, to learn, to begin again. That the universe is not a single fragile story, but an orchestra of infinite variations, playing together across the silence of eternity. Perhaps we are not meant to find those other worlds. Perhaps we only need to sense them, the way you can feel unseen ripples when standing at the edge of an ocean at night, each wave a possibility brushing against your feet, reminding you that existence itself is wider than you can ever know. So as you rest now, imagine all those parallel selves, each one at peace in its own sky, each one drifting through a life shaped by different stars, all connected by the quiet hum of the same consciousness. There is only one awareness flowing through infinite reflections, and tonight you are one of them, a single calm ripple in the endless sea of what might be. Close your eyes and imagine nothing. No stars, no air, no sound, no you, even thought itself fading into silence. It seems impossible, doesn't it? Because the moment we try to imagine nothing, something always slips in. A sense of darkness, a blank screen, the echo of space waiting to be filled. But true nothingness, if such a thing even exists, might be beyond the mind's reach. Science tells us that even the emptiest vacuum is never truly empty. Even in the vast stretches between galaxies, space hums with invisible energy. Particles blink in and out of being, borrowing existence from time before vanishing again. Quantum physics calls this vacuum fluctuation a ghostly dance of creation and disappearance happening everywhere, always. The void, it turns out, is alive. So maybe nothing isn't the opposite of something. Maybe it is the womb from which all things arise, a silent field of potential pregnant with possibility. Every atom, every star, every heartbeat may be a momentary crest in that infinite ocean of stillness. Even the Big Bang itself, that bright beginning of everything, may have been a ripple in the calm of nothingness, the universe awakening from its own quiet. Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. How can something come from nothing? But perhaps it's the wrong question. Maybe nothing and something are not two things at all, but one continuum, like inhale and exhale, day and night, silence and sound. Each defines, completes, and gives birth to the other. As you breathe now, feel the pause between your breaths, that still moment where nothing happens. That pause is not emptiness, it's the space that allows motion to exist. Without it, there would be no rhythm, no music, no life. So perhaps the universe too needs its pauses, vast stretches of quiet potential between bursts of creation. And within you, in the stillness between thoughts, the same nothingness lives, gentle, peaceful, fertile. It is not absence, it is the ground of being, the silence that gives birth to everything that flows. What if reality is not what it seems? What if the world around you, the stars, the air, even your own hands, is not solid, but a kind of projection? A shimmering image cast from a deeper layer of truth. This is the strange idea behind the holographic universe theory, that everything we see in 3 dimensions may actually arise from patterns written on a distant 2-dimensional surface. Like light projected from film, existence itself could be a cosmic hologram. It sounds impossible, almost mystical. And yet some of the universe's hardest mathematics whispers in agreement. When scientists studied black holes, they discovered something remarkable. The information of everything that falls inside is not lost within their depths, but encoded on their surfaces, as if the boundary itself remembers every detail. From this, a breathtaking thought emerged. If black holes store information holographically, perhaps the entire universe does the same. Imagine the cosmos as an enormous sphere, its outer skin carrying the script of all that happens within. Every atom, every moment, every thought, a ripple written in that vast invisible film. What you experience as space, time, and motion could be the unfolding of that deeper code. You, sitting here now, may be both the projection and the projector, a luminous image in a field of infinite light. Of course, science has not proven this. It's a bridge between physics and philosophy, one that blurs the line between matter and meaning. But even as theory, it stirs something ancient, the sense that reality is layered, that behind the visible world there is structure, intelligence, and wonder. As you rest, imagine yourself as that hologram, light woven into form, transparent yet complete. The walls, the bed, the stars, all part of a single luminous fabric. When you breathe, that fabric breathes with you. When you grow still, it settles into clarity, revealing the subtle truth that everything is connected, everything reflects everything else. Perhaps this is the secret the hologram hides, that the universe is not made of matter, but of memory. And every spark of consciousness, yours included, is the light that makes the image real. Far out in the darkness where gravity folds space like fabric and time drips into silence, there are places where even light cannot escape. We call them black holes, the universe's most mysterious instruments. For decades we thought of them as pure emptiness, hungry mouths swallowing stars. But we now know they sing. When two black holes collide, they send ripples through the fabric of space-time, waves so vast they stretch the universe itself. These are gravitational waves, faint tremors of cosmic music, vibrations in reality's very structure. We cannot hear them in air, but the instruments we've built can translate them into sound. A deep, ghostly chirp, echoing from billions of light years away. It is the universe humming to itself, the sound of creation reshaping its own rhythm. Even in stillness, black holes vibrate. Their edges, called event horizons, quiver with quantum fluctuations, singing at frequencies far beyond human hearing. Some physicists suggest that each black hole carries a unique note, a tone determined by its mass, its spin, its charge. Like cosmic bells, their songs may one day reveal secrets about space, time, and information itself. It's strange, isn't it, to think that silence could have a sound, that what we call nothing could hum with such quiet majesty. Black holes remind us that even darkness is not empty. It is music played at a scale too vast for the ear. If you could listen deeply enough right now, beneath the noise of thought and the pulse of your own heartbeat, perhaps you'd hear a similar tone, a slow vibration, steady and infinite, resonating through the core of your being. You're made of the same matter that once circled these giants, atoms forged in ancient stars whose final notes still echo across eternity. As you inhale, imagine that vibration rising softly through you, the hum of distant gravity woven into your breath. And as you exhale, feel yourself merge with that rhythm, a quiet chord in the music of existence. You do not need to understand the melody. It was written long before words. You need only listen to the song of stars that fell silent and the silence that continues to sing. Black holes do not just swallow light, they consume everything that crosses their edge, matter, energy, even time. But in physics there is one rule that has never been broken. Information cannot be destroyed. Every detail about every particle, every movement, every vibration of energy must, somehow, remain written into the fabric of reality. So what happens to that information when a black hole devours it? Does it vanish forever? Or does it hide, encoded in ways we cannot yet perceive? This puzzle, known as the information paradox, is one of the deepest mysteries in modern science. When Stephen Hawking first described black holes, he showed that they are not entirely silent. They emit faint radiation, a whisper of light slowly leaking back into the universe. Over unimaginable time, a black hole can even evaporate completely, fading into nothing. But if it disappears, what happens to the information that once fell inside? Does the universe lose a memory of itself? Or does that data live on, scattered through space like cosmic code? Some theories suggest the information remains, imprinted on the event horizon like an intricate hologram. Others say it's released slowly through Hawking radiation, woven back into the universe molecule by molecule. And then there are ideas so wild they sound poetic, that the information falls into another dimension, or even into another universe altogether. Perhaps the truth is simpler, that nothing is ever truly lost, that every particle, every thought, every action leaves a trace, a soft ripple in the ocean of being. Even when the form is gone, its pattern remains somewhere, whispering quietly through the dark. You can feel this in your own life, can't you? The way a memory of someone lingers, even after they're gone. The way a word, a kindness, a small act of care continues to echo in others. Maybe the universe remembers in the same way, through resonance, not record, through presence, not proof. As you breathe now, imagine your own memories drifting outward like light, not vanishing but softening, spreading into the quiet fabric of everything. Nothing is ever wasted, nothing truly disappears. Even in the deepest darkness, information, meaning, persists, it only changes form. Somewhere in the quiet fabric of the universe, two particles are dancing together, perhaps separated by a breath, perhaps by galaxies. And yet, when one moves, the other feels it instantly. Distance doesn't matter. Time doesn't delay it. They behave as if they are one. This is the strange phenomenon called quantum entanglement, and it defies everything we know about space and separation. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, a reluctant nod to a mystery that even he could not explain. He believed nothing could move faster than light, but entangled particles seem to whisper across the void in zero time at all. They share information without crossing space, as if connected by an invisible thread that stretches beyond dimensions themselves. When scientists test this connection, the results are always the same. Change one particle, and the other responds instantly, no matter how far apart they are. It's as though reality itself refuses to be divided. The universe, beneath its vastness, seems to operate as a single organism, every part aware of every other. And if this is true on the smallest scale, what does it mean for us? Maybe consciousness too is entangled, our minds rippling through one another like waves in the same sea. Perhaps when you think of someone you love, when you suddenly feel their presence or speak their name just before they call, it isn't coincidence, it's resonance. Two patterns of energy responding to each other in the language of connection. Quantum entanglement reminds us that separation may be the greatest illusion of all, that between every particle, every star, every soul, there is an unseen bond, not a force, but a harmony. As you breathe now, feel that connection around you, not imagined, but deeply real. The air entering your lungs was once inside trees, oceans, even other hearts. The light that touches your skin was born in distant suns. You are not apart from the cosmos. You're a continuation of its thought. When one part of the universe trembles, the rest feels it. And somewhere, in ways we can't yet measure, every peaceful breath you take ripples softly through the stars. You live in 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. You move through a 4th, time. These are the coordinates of your reality, the frame within which every breath and heartbeat unfolds. But what if there are others, dimensions curled so tightly, so invisibly small, that we cannot sense them, even though they shape everything we see? Physicists searching for a grand unifying theory, one that binds gravity, quantum mechanics, and light, have begun to suspect that our universe may hold far more than 4 dimensions. String theory. One of the boldest ideas in science suggests there may be 10 or even 11. Tiny vibrating strings of energy, resonating not just in space and time, but through unseen directions folded in upon themselves like the pleats of a cosmic fabric. If this is true, then reality is far richer than we can imagine. Every atom, every beam of light may be humming with the echoes of hidden dimensions. Fields we cannot measure, worlds we cannot step into, but which whisper through the mathematics that describe our own. Perhaps gravity's weakness, its strange faintness compared to other forces, is because it leaks into these hidden realms, flowing through dimensions beyond our perception. Maybe what we call empty space is actually overflowing with geometry, curled tighter than thought itself. It's humbling to imagine that we move through this multi-dimensional ocean every second without knowing. That when you lift your hand, it may cast a shadow through worlds unseen. That the space between your heartbeat and the stars could contain infinities folded into silence. As you lie here, picture the universe not as a flat expanse, but as a tapestry of unseen corridors and threads vibrating gently beneath reality's surface. Each breath you take ripples through those hidden rooms, each thought brushing against dimensions that listen quietly. And though we may never see them, they may be what gives the world its depth, its mystery, its soul. You're not simply living in the universe. You're living through it, moving across dimensions far beyond measure. And somewhere in that folded architecture of light and silence, the essence of you continues to move, in ways even science can only dream to describe. Before the first light, before the first movement, there was no before. Time itself had not yet begun. Everything that would ever happen, every orbit, every word, every heartbeat, waited in perfect stillness, unfolded within the silence that existed outside of clocks. Then, suddenly time was born. Not as a thing moving forward, but as a field expanding in every direction at once, a river rising from nowhere, carrying everything that ever could be. What sparked it? The Big Bang, perhaps, a bloom of energy so vast that even time had to stretch to hold it. Yet when we trace the math backward, the equations stop working. They fall into infinity, as if the universe itself refuses to tell the story of its own birth. It is the ultimate mystery, the moment when nothing decided to become something, and forever took its first breath. Maybe time is not a river at all. Maybe it's an ocean, every moment already existing, waves rising and falling, while we drift along one current and call it now. Some physicists believe the future and past already exist, woven together in a timeless fabric. We do not move through time. Time moves through us. You can feel it if you listen closely enough. The strange elasticity of moments. How a minute can feel endless when you're waiting and vanish when you're in awe. How a memory can feel closer than yesterday, and how dreams can bend hours into seconds. Perhaps time is not fixed but pliable, shaped by perception, emotion, attention, a human echo of a cosmic truth. As you breathe, let yourself drift beyond the need to measure moments. Feel time soften, stretching like warm light over still water. There is no rush, no future chasing you, no past pulling you back. There is only this, an eternal unfolding, a continuous present. If the universe was born from timelessness, then time is not a cage, but a song, a rhythm that began with creation and continues through every pulse of your heart. You're not separate from its flow. You're the rhythm itself, a verse within the poem of forever. If you could step outside the cosmos and look back, what would you see? Would it stretch endlessly in all directions, a boundless plain of galaxies fading into eternity? Or would it curve, looping back upon itself like a ribbon of light, so that travelling far enough in one direction would bring you home again from the other side? What is the shape of everything? Astronomers have long searched for the answer. Some believe the universe is flat, expanding forever, its geometry balanced on the knife's edge between collapse and infinity. Others think it may be curved, bent by unseen mass and gravity, like a cosmic sphere so vast its arc is too gentle for our eyes to perceive. And still others imagine something more exquisite, a universe folded in higher dimensions, like the surface of a soap bubble rippling in invisible space. We look for clues in the light that reaches us, ancient photons from the birth of time itself still crossing the dark. They carry the faint fingerprints of the universe's shape in their gentle patterns, and yet even with all our instruments, the truth remains elusive. The cosmos keeps its figure hidden behind distance and light. Perhaps that is its beauty. We live within the curve, unable to step outside and see its whole. We are like fish in an endless ocean, trying to describe the shape of the sea from within the wave. But sometimes you can sense the answer in your bones, in the way gravity curves your step, the way horizons arc, the way galaxies spiral like living shells. The universe loves the circle, planets, atoms, orbits, ripples. Even your breath follows that rhythm, a loop of giving and receiving, expanding and returning. Maybe the cosmos is not flat or round or folded. Maybe it is alive, shaped by its own rhythm of creation and return. Each galaxy, each consciousness, a pulse within its grand anatomy. As you breathe now, imagine yourself drifting along that curvature, through stars, through silence, through an arc so wide it feels like rest. You are not outside the shape, you are the shape, one luminous curve in the great geometry of everything. What if the universe itself is alive? Not metaphorically, not as poetry, but truly, vibrantly alive. What if every star is a neuron, every galaxy a pulse of thought, and the great web of cosmic filaments the neural network of a mind beyond measure? This is the idea behind the living universe theory, a whisper shared between science and philosophy, that consciousness may not have emerged in the universe, but that the universe is consciousness, awakening within itself. When astronomers map the cosmos, they see patterns that echo biology. Galaxies cluster in filaments and nodes that look strikingly like the web of neurons inside the human brain. The structures differ in scale by billions of light years, yet their shapes, their rhythms, feel the same. It's as though creation repeats itself from the microscopic to the cosmic, a fractal of awareness unfolding at every level. Some scientists wonder whether this resemblance is coincidence, or whether it hints at a deeper unity, a cosmos not inert, but self-organizing, self-perceiving, slowly learning what it is. If so, then stars are not separate entities but living sparks within a single vast being, each one burning with curiosity, each one sending its light like a thought into the dark. And if the universe is alive, then you are not a visitor in it. You are one of its cells, a moment of awareness through which it experiences itself. Every sensation, every breath, is the cosmos exploring what it means to exist. When you look at the stars, the universe looks back through your eyes, seeing itself reflected in wonder. Perhaps this is why awe feels so natural, why the night sky can quiet every fear. Because in that moment you are remembering what you are part of, the universe dreaming through you, learning to feel its own light. As you breathe now, imagine yourself as one bright neuron in that infinite brain, your thoughts travelling through filaments of starlight, your calm rippling across galaxies. Life is not confined to Earth. It is the pattern of connection itself. And even in sleep, the universe continues to think through you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. The light of every star, every mind, every living being, not separate sparks, but one vast field of awareness, shimmering like the surface of an endless sea. Each consciousness, each thought, a ripple moving through that shared expanse. This is the idea of cosmic consciousness, that the universe itself may be awake. We tend to think of awareness as something personal, something that happens inside the brain. But what if it is not contained at all? What if consciousness is the ground of reality and matter arises within it, the way waves rise upon water? In this view, you are not a mind within the universe. You are the universe dreaming of itself through the shape of a human life. Some of the world's oldest philosophies whispered this truth long before science could measure anything, that the self and the cosmos are not two, that the same intelligence that spins galaxies also blinks behind your eyes. Now even some physicists begin to wonder, could consciousness be a fundamental property woven into the very equations that create space and time? Could it be that awareness doesn't emerge from complexity, but that complexity emerges from awareness? If so, then every particle is not just a thing, but a point of perception. Every atom hums faintly with the potential to know. From stars to stones to your own heartbeat, the the universe is quietly observing itself in countless forms at countless scales. You can feel this when you are perfectly still, when the mind stops talking and all that remains is presence. In those rare moments, the boundaries between you and everything dissolve like mist in sunlight. You realize there was never separation, only the illusion of distance between mirror and reflection. Breathe now and sense the calm behind your thoughts, that infinite quiet which listens, which never sleeps, which has always been. It is not something you must reach. It is what you already are. Perhaps this is the truest mystery, that the universe is not a collection of objects but a communion of awareness, light perceiving light, silence recognizing itself through sound, existence awakening again and again in every form. And tonight, as you drift deeper into stillness, you are part of that awakening, a single, gentle thought inside the mind of the cosmos. What if everything you see, the stars, your memories, even the thought you're having right now, isn't the ultimate reality, but a magnificent illusion? Not a dream, but a simulation. A model so intricate and vast that every atom, every neuron, every pulse of light obeys the same hidden code. It's a question that bridges science, philosophy, and imagination. Are we living inside something designed? The idea began as a thought experiment. If civilizations survive long enough, they might gain the power to simulate entire worlds with weather, with history, with people who believe they are real. And if that's possible, then statistically, there may be far more simulated realities than physical ones. In that case, how would we ever know which one we inhabit? Scientists have searched for clues, tiny inconsistencies in cosmic radiation, mathematical limits to energy, discrete pixels of space-time that could suggest a digital grid beneath reality. So far, the evidence is uncertain, but the question lingers, luminous and unsettling. Because if the universe is a simulation, then what does that make consciousness? An accident? Or the very purpose of the experiment? Perhaps the simulation, if it exists, is not artificial at all. Maybe it's simply another word for pattern, for the way the universe builds complexity from simplicity, repeating structures that resemble code, a natural computation unfolding across infinity. You could call it God, or mathematics, or both. The language changes, but the awe remains. And if it is true, if we are living inside an unimaginably sophisticated design, then even illusion is divine. Every feeling, every connection, every act of kindness would still shimmer with meaning, because within the simulation, experience is reality. A simulated sunrise still warms the heart. A simulated act of love still transforms a life. Maybe the real question isn't whether we are simulated, but why awareness exists at all. Because no matter how deep the layers go, from atoms to algorithms, from galaxies to grids, there is still something that watches, something that wonders, something that feels. As you rest now, let the mystery untangle itself into peace. Whether this world is base reality or a dream of light, its beauty is undeniable. The code, the cosmos, the consciousness, they are all one shimmering field. And in this moment you're not trapped inside it. You're it, the dreamer, the dream, and the dream's reflection. Every generation has believed it stood near the edge of understanding. We once thought the Earth was the center of everything, then the sun, then the galaxy, then even the universe itself. Only to find there are no edges, no centers, just deeper layers of mystery unfolding like petals without end. Science keeps reaching, and with every discovery new questions bloom. The more we know, the more we realize how much remains hidden, as if knowledge is not a staircase to completion, but a spiral leading us inward, always turning toward wonder. Look how far we've come. We've mapped the genome, touched the surface of other worlds, Listen to the echoes of the Big Bang. And yet, the greatest riddles remain. What is consciousness? What is time? Why does anything exist at all? The horizon of truth keeps receding, inviting us to follow without promise of arrival. But maybe that's the design, that the pursuit itself is the point. Knowledge is not a possession, but a relationship, a dialogue between curiosity and creation. The universe reveals itself slowly, not out of reluctance, but out of rhythm, because learning too fast would end the story too soon, and you, right now, are part of that unfolding. Every thought you have, every quiet moment of awe is another neuron firing in the cosmic brain of discovery. The future of knowledge is not written in laboratories alone. It lives wherever someone pauses to ask why, or whispers how, or stares at the night sky and feels both small and infinite. Perhaps one day the questions that baffle us now, dark matter, consciousness, time, will be as simple to future minds as sunrise is to us. But even then, there will be new mysteries waiting, smiling softly from just beyond comprehension. So breathe and feel that gentle current of curiosity moving through you. It is older than language, older than stars. It is the pulse of knowing and not knowing, the heartbeat of existence itself. The future of knowledge isn't a destination. It's a song, and you are one note, resonating in perfect harmony with the endless question that began at the dawn of time. Why does beauty exist? Not just in sunsets and galaxies, but in the curve of a seashell, the symmetry of snow, the rhythm of music that makes the heart swell without reason. Science can describe proportions, frequencies, wavelengths, but not the feeling of beauty, the silent recognition that something is just right. From a logical view, beauty seems unnecessary. It doesn't feed or shelter us, and yet every living thing seeks it. Birds build elaborate nests adorned with petals and light. Peacocks fan their colours, whales sing through oceans, humans paint, compose, dance, and stare at the stars as though they were mirrors of the soul. It is as if beauty is not luxury, but language, a way the universe communicates harmony to itself. Mathematicians find beauty in equations that balance perfectly, where chaos resolves into clarity. Physicists speak of elegant theories, those that feel right long before they are proven. Even at the level of atoms, symmetry rules. Crystals form with precision, spirals emerge in galaxies and storms alike. Beauty may be the signature of coherence, the echo of order written into chaos. And yet, the most touching forms of beauty often contain imperfection, a quiver in a violin's note, a crack in an ancient statue, the faint asymmetry of a smile. Perfection may please the eye, but imperfection moves the heart. Perhaps that is the secret, that beauty lives in the balance between order and accident, between harmony and surprise. When you see something beautiful, notice how still you become. For a moment, thought quiets. The mind pauses, and what remains is presence, a direct communion between awareness and wonder. In that silence, beauty and truth become the same. As you breathe now, let that stillness settle inside you. You do not need to search for beauty. It is already everywhere, woven into light, into sound, into the quiet rhythm of your chest rising and falling. You're not just an observer of beauty. You are one of its expressions. The universe, for a brief moment, has taken your shape to admire itself. And that may be the most beautiful mystery of all. Every star that shines is a memory, a recollection of creation itself, a page from the universe's diary written in light. When you gaze at the night sky, you're not seeing what is. You're seeing what was. The nearest star's light left years ago. The faintest glows may have travelled billions of years to touch your eyes tonight. You're reading the ancient past still arriving. Astronomers call it look-back time, the measure of how far into history each photon has travelled. The farther we see, the older the universe appears. Some of the light falling upon you now set out long before the earth was born, before the sun had even gathered its dust. You're bathed in memory, a constant rain of time made visible. And just as the stars remember, so does everything else. Atoms carry the signatures of the stars that forged them. The calcium in your bones once burned in the heart of a dying sun. The iron in your blood was born in a supernova's final breath. Every part of you is a story billions of years old, a lineage of flame and silence. The cosmos never forgets. Even when stars collapse or galaxies fade, their energy continues, written into the fabric of space-time, recorded in gravity's long, slow curves. Nothing ever truly vanishes. It only changes form, like thought turning into dream or sound becoming echo. Perhaps memory itself is the universe's most sacred law, the persistence of pattern, the continuity of presence. Even black holes, once thought to erase all trace, may simply rewrite it, hiding information in ways we do not yet understand. The cosmos, it seems, remembers everything, not as nostalgia, but as existence itself. And within you, this memory continues. Every sensation, every emotion is a tiny echo of the greater remembrance. The universe awakening again, replaying its song through your heartbeat, its light through your eyes. As you rest now, feel the weight of that cosmic memory, not heavy, but vast. You are the archive of starlight, a living library of time, and when you sleep, perhaps the universe dreams through you, remembering itself once more. There is a special kind of peace in mystery, a softness that comes when you stop reaching for answers and simply rest within the question. All your life, you've been taught to seek understanding, to chase meaning through facts, equations, stories. But what if knowledge is not a ladder to climb, but a sky to float within, a space wide enough to hold both curiosity and calm? Science, at its heart, is not certainty. It is wonder disciplined by patience. Every great discovery begins not with an answer, but with awe. A moment when someone whispers, "I don't know," and listens carefully to what silence says next. The universe has always rewarded humility more than haste. For every mystery solved, 100 new ones bloom, as though creation wants to make sure that our thirst for meaning never truly ends. And perhaps that is the point. We are not meant to master the universe, but to be moved by it. Not to solve the cosmos, but to join its unfolding, to feel the joy of almost knowing. Like standing before the ocean and realizing that its beauty depends on its depth, its meaning on its mystery. Look at your own life. How many of its turning points were planned? How many answers arrived only when you stopped searching? Uncertainty isn't emptiness, it is potential, a quiet space where new understanding can take root. It is the pause before revelation, the inhale before the song begins. So tonight, as you breathe, allow yourself to not know. Let the questions drift like clouds across your mind, unhurried, unjudged. You do not need to hold them or chase them, you only need to let them pass. The art of not knowing is the art of peace. It is what allows wonder to stay alive, for in the end, it's not the answers that define us, but the grace with which we live among mysteries. Some truths are meant to be felt, not understood, and some beauty exists only when left unexplained. Stop searching for a moment and listen. The universe is still speaking, but only in silence. The night deepens. The questions have softened into quiet shapes, no longer demanding to be solved, only asking to be felt. You have drifted through wonder tonight, through particles and dreams, through silence and stars, and somewhere along that path perhaps you discovered that mystery itself is not a wall, but a current, a gentle flow carrying you through existence, inviting you to let go, to drift with it, not against it. All that you have ever sought, truth, peace, meaning, has always been moving with you. The more you chase, the more it runs, but when you rest, it arrives. Understanding is not a point you reach, but a rhythm you join, like the tide, like breath, like light. Think of the stars. They do not hurry to shine. They burn quietly, each pulse of their fire both question and answer. Their glow does not explain. It reveals. They remind us that to exist is enough, to shine without needing to know why. So now, as the last of your thoughts settles into calm, let the great current of unknowing carry you home. There is nothing left to solve, nothing left to name. The mind can rest. The body can trust the pull of gravity, the slow turning of the earth, the invisible hand that has held you since the first spark of time. You are part of that flow. Always have been, always will be. The same energy that stirs galaxies moves gently through your breath. The same silence between stars lives in the space between your heartbeats. Let go now. Let yourself merge with that endless motion, where curiosity becomes calm and wonder becomes rest. You are safe in the mystery. You are complete in the unknown. Everything flows. Sleep in that motion.